Welcome back to another episode of In the Middle with Chauncey. I'm Chauncey and I will be your host today. Okay, you guys, this is the first time that I'm recording an episode that I have just been putting it off because I've just been so drained and had no energy, and I record these episodes at night and I've just not been sleeping great. So to catch you up, I think it's been about 6 weeks that my 1.5-year-old has decided not to sleep all night anymore. So that's been fun. She decides I can get her to sleep good, but she decides to wake up around 11 or 12 and either wants to be in my bed with me because I finally give up, or she just won't let me transfer her back into her bed. So I'm getting like no sleep and I'm completely drained. And something weird happened last night. I accidentally muted the monitor and I had no idea. I woke up this morning at like 8 o'clock and I was like, oh my gosh, she slept all night. Like that was amazing. I needed that sleep, yay. And then like 8:30 comes and 9 o'clock and I'm like, wait, she's like still not awake. So I turn over and look at the monitor and she was sitting up and I was like, oh my gosh, it was muted all night. And I could see that she had thrown out her blankets and I just knew that she was crying at night and I didn't hear it. Nobody heard it. And I felt so bad, but a little like relieved that I didn't hear it, but way more bad than relief. And she comes into my room, dried up snot on her nose, like clearly she had a night, which I think is why she slept in, because she was probably up for an hour or two trying to get herself to go back to sleep. She also had a bloody lip and she had gotten one arm out of her sleep sack. Poor little thing. I literally just felt so bad. You could hear in her voice that she had just been crying for who knows how long. So that was sad. I've never done that before, and I'll just take the night's sleep and then hope that trying to get her to go like soothe herself back to sleep again, maybe last night was meant to be and she remembered that she knows how to put herself back to sleep. We shall see. So last week was my birthday and now I'm 32. We didn't really do anything special at all. I actually went to the gym, and on my way home, oh my gosh, I just yawned. On my way home from the gym, I went to the store and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy something good and we're gonna eat something good for dinner tonight because we weren't gonna go anywhere or do anything. Anderson had work. So I came home and everybody was sleeping like for a nap, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just make myself my birthday dinner and do that. So I did, and we ate my birthday dinner and went outside and played until bedtime. And that was it. And then on Friday, this is so unlike me, but I got invited to a soiree. I think I'm saying that right. And that's like a small house gathering. It's like a French word. And just a little, like a neighbor threw a little party, and I got all dressed up in like a cocktail dress, and her house was decorated so cute. And it was like one of the first nights that I've had out without kids, with like multiple people in, oh geez, a year, over a year actually. So that was fun. I normally like say no to that kind of stuff, but I think I just really needed a little bit of like me time. And I honestly, like, I feel really good, and I highly recommend doing something. If you're feeling burnt out or overwhelmed right now, set aside some time for you to do something that just will make you happy, whatever that is. And I hope that it just helps, because I really, really needed that. So let's get into our topic. I have been going back and forth because I just haven't really had any inspiration for a topic, and it's literally Tuesday night. And this episode is gonna have to be dropped on Thursday, so I have just cut myself some work to do, and that doesn't make sense, but it's fine. What's the word? I have my work cut out for me because I have waited until the last minute. This is classic Chauncey like vibes because I'm a procrastinator. I have anxiety, and when I have anxiety, I push things off, which then makes my anxiety worse. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And if you haven't listened to my story a few episodes back, go listen to it so that you can just kind of know like what has happened in my life and why this month is a special month. So 3 years ago was the first time I ever learned about this month. And that was very interesting. I just had no idea. I was just oblivious, and then I lost a baby a month before, and then I step into Pregnancy Loss Awareness Month, and the last 3 years, this is the 4th year that I've been in this group in this community, and the last 3 years I have been totally like in it. Like 2 years in a row I hosted a live event where we read people's angel babies' names and shared our lost stories, and those were incredible nights. Very, very special. October 15th is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day. So what that day means is like at 7:00 p.m. your time zone, you light a candle for your baby or your babies or all the babies. We just honor the babies. So that's when we would do that live event, and it was really heavy and amazing and beautiful, but hard and sad and heart-wrenching. And it would take a few days to recover from that. I see a lot of people talk about grief hangover, and holy cow, that is real. Very, very real. So come October 15th was on Saturday, and I didn't want to do anything. I haven't really talked or posted about this month. I didn't set aside like anything for October 15th, and I didn't even light a candle at 7 p.m. So for the first time in 3 years, I just really didn't want to feel sad on a day like that. And I've just kind of pushed away this month because September was super, super heavy for me. We have a lot of dates, and that's when we lost Echo, and our second baby that we lost, that baby's due date is the same week as Echo. So maybe I've just had like grief hangover for a long time. I don't even know, but I feel like I just needed space. And I like take these dates so hard, and they're so heavy, and I feel so much that I just like needed to not feel. So I didn't. And I've gone back and forth, like when I've seen other people post their candle pictures, I kind of felt bad. But then I'm like, no, like this is what I needed. And I am sharing this because I think everybody's journey and everybody's situation, and each year, each day is going to look different. And this year, I just needed to honor the fact that I was okay not being, like focusing so much on that day. And I don't know, I feel like it's been good for me. But I am doing this episode because I do feel like it is super important to talk about pregnancy loss and infant loss this month. It is still a very special month, but it's a hard month. And so when I open up that can of worms, I'm just like, oh, it's hard and it's heavy, and this might throw me in a weird funk, and I just wanted to avoid that. So that is kind of what we're going to talk about today. I don't have like a super big purpose or like an outline. It's kind of just been my thoughts and things that I've written down throughout the month. And so I'm just gonna talk and we'll see how it goes. I think that's kind of, my podcast is in the middle with Chauncey, and I just feel like right now I'm just in the middle of it, and I just don't want to like make my podcast so, what's the word, like everybody else's. And that might make my podcast stupid and annoying and dumb, but I don't really care because I want to make it what it is for me. And I started listening to a book from Matthew McConaughey called Green Lights, and it's been really interesting. I didn't know what this book was about, but basically, like, from what I've gathered so far, he wrote in his journal all of his life, which I think is so freaking amazing. And in like the first part of his book, he says, I didn't write it down to remember. I wrote it down to forget. And then he goes on to say, but when I reread it, like it was really cool, and like he liked it and he was happy that he wrote it down. And now he's remembering things that he once wrote to forget, but he's like reprocessing and remembering like goals and things that he had done. And it just made me really think about what my Instagram has been for me. And I've said so many times, not on my podcast, but so many times, that my Instagram is like my journal. I write these things down when they're heavy on my heart, and then I post them, and then I feel lighter, and I feel like I just like let go of something. But then like a year or two later, I'll sit down to read it, or some random like person will like a old post and I'll reread it, and I'm like, holy cow, like I was there and I wrote that and I remember feeling that. And what am I going to learn from this today? And how am I going to reprocess this again? And I'm just so grateful that I have written so much about my loss journey, because this is the biggest thing that I have had to go through personally every day, walking through. And I'm just so grateful that I pushed through feeling so scared and so stupid and ridiculous and dramatic about writing about my loss, about those first few days, and the things that my body went through, and the things I was feeling, and the things that people said to me. I'm just so grateful, because not only does it helped me then, and it helped so many other people, but I get to reread it, and I get to heal from it again. And I get to see where I was 3 years ago and where I am today. And I'm in no way saying like I'm fixed and I'm better and I'm healed, but I am not where I was then. But I wouldn't even be able to know that if I didn't write those things down. So when I talk about hard things, my throat chakra gets so tight and it starts to make me yawn. It's been really weird. It's like activating that. The throat chakra is like the voice, and it's like when you either are holding something back, or you need to say something, or you're about to say something. Like, I don't know if you've ever felt that feeling of like getting choked, but that's what's happening to me right now. So I'm having a hard time talking, and it makes me yawn as well. So, But you guys, I'm just so grateful that I decided to write down what I went through and what I've continued to go through. And that's kind of what I want my podcast to be, is like next level journaling for me. And so far, I have absolutely loved my podcast. It has helped me heal and release things that I didn't even know I needed to release. I didn't even know I was like needing to process. Even this, for example, like just realizing where I used to be to where I am now. So that brings me to my topic, pregnancy loss. And I just have some random thoughts that I just want to talk about. So I don't know how your guys' brain works, but mine works in like, I see like movies play out in my head, kind of like life, like things happen that way for me. And I have this image, this like video, we might all just call it, and it's a pregnancy announcement video. And it's like the girl standing in front of her mirror and her phone is facing her, and she's like waiting for that pregnancy test to have 2 lines. And you pick it up and she looks at the lines and she starts crying and she's so excited. And then it moves on to showing her husband or her significant other like how they are so excited. She gives a little bag of a onesie and it says, "You're going to be a dad." And then it skips to the announcement to the family members, like the grandmas and the grandpas and the cousin and the brothers and sisters, and like that pure excitement. And it's beautiful. It's just so amazing. And we cry and we feel so happy for them, right? Because one of the most amazing and beautiful things on this planet is bringing a baby into the world, okay? So we paint this picture of this excitement, this pure joy. We say, "Congratulations, this made me cry. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. When are you due? You know, what a blessing, what a miracle." Fast forward to, she goes to the bathroom. She has blood on her underwear and her heart drops. She loses her breath and she falls to the floor, because this means her baby's not alive, okay? She might go get an ultrasound. Her pregnancy test is no longer positive. And no one says a word. Sometimes they don't even say a word. They just pretend like they were never pregnant. Or they say, "I lost my baby." And some people say, "I'm so sorry for your loss." And then the weekend goes by and they are expected to get over it. But the thing is when you have that much excitement and that much love and joy and planning and a baby growing in your belly, and then your baby dies, that excitement and that love, where is it supposed to go? It doesn't just dissolve. Now it turns into grief. And grief is love. So much love with nowhere to put it. It just sits in your heart. It just weighs you down and it hurts like nothing else in this world.